The film begins with a girl named Debbie who finds a Ouija board while cleaning her house. As soon as she sees it, memories of her childhood come rushing back, times when she and her friend Lane used to play with this board. During childhood, Debbie once told Lane that the Ouija board can be used to contact spirits and it's important to always say goodbye to end the game. While Debbie is looking at the board, she receives a call from Lane. Before meeting Lane, Debbie burns the Ouija board and steps outside. Lane was waiting for her so they could go watch a football match together. But Debbie declines, saying her parents aren't home and will be back soon. She says she can't go today, but they can meet in the morning. Lane agrees, and Debbie says goodbye and returns inside. It's dinner time. Debbie eats alone calmly. Suddenly, the door to the backyard opens. She gets startled but finds no one outside. She shuts the door and walks back to the kitchen, confused. There, she notices the stove is on, although everything was turned off earlier. As she turns the stove off, she hears a noise from upstairs. She goes to her room and is shocked to see the same Ouija board, completely intact, on her bed, the one she thought she had burned. As she backs off a little, her foot hits the planchette. She picks it up and looks through its lens, and her eye appears completely white, indicating she has been possessed and is no longer a normal human. Debbie then removes the fairy lights from her room and wraps them around her neck. She jumps from the first floor and ends her life by hanging herself. The next morning, Lane is shown receiving the shocking news from her mother that Debbie, whom she had just recently met, is no more. Disturbed by the news, Lane, her family, and a few of Debbie's other friends visit Debbie's parents to offer condolences. Lane, deeply affected, visits Debbie's room where she finds the Ouija planchette. Debbie's mom then gives Lane a box containing memories from their childhood, pictures, friendship bands, and old videos. Lane takes the box home and spends the night watching and remembering Debbie. The next day at school, Lane tells her friend that it still feels like Debbie is around, as if she wants to say something. She expresses a desire to talk to Debbie and sees the Ouija board as the only way. Lane decides to try the board with her sister Sarah and their friends Trevor, Pete, and Isabel. They choose to play it at Debbie's house, believing the chances of connecting with her are higher there. Lane retrieves the Ouija board and planchette from Debbie's room, and the group begins the game. Each person places their fingers on the planchette. They ask if there's anyone present besides them and to show a sign of presence. First, nothing happens, but after a few moments the planchette suddenly moves to yes, a sign that something is indeed there. Then it spells out "Hi friends," indicating that the spirit is greeting them. They ask who it is, and the planchette moves to D, making them believe it's Debbie. The group expresses how much they miss her. After talking to the spirit for a while, they all say goodbye, and the planchette moves to goodbye as well, as if the spirit is also saying farewell. The moment the planchette stops at goodbye, the lights in the house go out. The group is deeply shocked when the lights suddenly go out. Lane and the boys use their phone flashlights to check the main switch. As Lane walks past the kitchen, she notices the stove is on. She turns it off, but just then, Pete screams ahead of her. When others rush over and ask what happened, Pete explains that he just saw a shadow in the mirror and someone pushed him from behind, causing his hand to hit the mirror and get injured. This terrifying incident forces everyone to leave the house and go home. But after that night, each of them begins experiencing strange events. Trevor narrowly avoids an accident when a trolley suddenly appears in front of him. He then sees "Hi friends" written on a wall. Isabel sees the same message written on her car. Pete also notices "Hi friend" on his desk. Even Lane finds "Hi friend" displayed on her laptop. Everyone becomes increasingly disturbed. The next day at school, they share their experiences. They conclude that Debbie is possibly trying to communicate with them. So they decide to play the Ouija board game again to talk to her and understand what she wants to say. That night, they return to Debbie's house. They set up the Ouija board on the same dining table, place their fingers on the planchette, and begin. Their first question is whether Debbie is present and if she can give them a sign. Just then, the chair in front of them moves. They stay calm and ask if the spirit is Debbie. Planchette quickly moves to no. Then it moves to the letters D and Z, indicating the spirit's name might start with those letters. The planchette then rapidly moves across letters spelling "Run, Mother is coming." As soon as this message is completed, the Ouija board flies into the air. The group screams and flees the scene. Lane returns home. Saddened by Debbie's memory, she starts watching her old videos. In one of them, Debbie talks about the Ouija board, explaining that it wasn't originally hers. She found it in the attic of the house, left behind by previous owners. Realizing this, Lane decides to explore Debbie's attic the next day. She wants to know if the spirits are connected to the former residents of the house. In the attic, she finds many old items and photos belonging to a previous family named the Zanders. As she researches them, she discovers shocking facts. The family had a mother and 2 daughters, Doris and Paulina. The younger daughter, Doris, mysteriously disappeared from the house and was never found. The elder sister, Paulina, was accused of murdering their mother and later sent to a mental hospital. Lane now decides to meet Paulina to uncover the truth behind the mysterious events in the house. When she meets her, Paulina begins revealing the dark history of their family. Her mother performed spiritual rituals to make contact with spirits. Initially, she only wanted to reach out to her deceased husband, but later she turned it into a business. She needed a medium to channel the spirits' voices, so she used her younger daughter Doris for this purpose. Through Doris, the spirits began to speak. First, the voices helped her mother, but eventually they became uncontrollable. Unable to manage the voices, she stitched Doris's lips shut, hoping to break the connection with the spirits. However, this action led to chaos. Doris mysteriously disappeared, and no one ever found her. Later, Paulina reveals that because they used the Ouija board, a connection has formed between them and Doris. It's possible that Doris's body could now be found by them, something that no one else has been able to do. Paulina also tells her about a hidden basement room in her house which no one else knows about, suggesting that Doris's body might be there. She insists the only way to end all of this is to find Doris's corpse and cut her stitched lips open, which will free her spirit and break the curse. Lane informs her friends, who are initially hesitant due to fear. Eventually, Lane, her sister Sarah, Trevor, and Pete enter the basement. Once inside, someone attacks them. Everyone except Lane loses consciousness. The attacker turns out to be Doris's mother, who also died in that place. Lane navigates through and finds Doris's body with her lips still stitched. She quickly cuts them open, freeing Doris's spirit as well as her mother's and ending the evil. But unknowingly, this action unleashes a greater danger. Now, Doris's spirit gains a voice and becomes even more powerful. The next day, she possesses Pete and kills him by stitching his lips the same way hers were stitched. Shocked, Lane visits Paulina again, seeking answers. Paulina then laughs maniacally, revealing it was all a trick to free her sister. Now Doris is free and hunting them all. Terrified, Lane discusses everything with her sister Sarah, and they seek help from their grandmother. After hearing their story, the grandmother advises that burning Doris's body along with the Ouija board will sever all connections. Lane, Sarah, and Trevor head back to the basement to carry out this plan. However, Doris first possesses Trevor and kills him. Lane and Sarah go to light the furnace. Meanwhile, Doris captures Sarah and drags her to the secret room to stitch her lips. Before anything fatal happens, Lane gets an idea and begins playing the Ouija game to attract the spirit. Her plan works. Doris appears and tries to move the planchette to goodbye to end the game. Lane resists with all her strength, but she is overpowered until the spirit of her friend Debbie joins to help. While they fight to stop the planchette from reaching goodbye, Sarah regains consciousness and throws Doris's body into the furnace. At the same moment, Lane throws the Ouija board in too. As a result, Doris's spirit vanishes and the haunting ends. Though they succeed in their mission, they grieve the loss of their 3 friends. In the post-credits scene, Lane sees the planchette in her room. When she looks through it, her eye appears normal, indicating that all the evil has ended. The movie concludes on this note. I hope you liked my video. If you did, please like and share it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We keep bringing such content regularly. Peace.